Hey there, it's Dana from Loveleighstampin, and I'm here to show you a fun technique using a marble and heat embossing to create a fun background, a fun marble background. Here is a sample of it done on regular cardstock, and here is a sample done on watercolor paper, which I would then watercolor with an ink and aqua painter. It's really quick and easy to do. You will want a glove. I just picked up a couple from work, and that way I didn't need to buy a whole box because I really don't, use them often enough to buy a whole box. You'll want that because this gets a little messy. I just got a marble. I had to set in a jar already, so I didn't have to buy any. And I'm just going to take the marble and roll it around on my Versamark pad. You could also use Versamark re-inker and just put some in a dish and roll your marble around in there, and that might actually work better to get your marble really good and wet with the Versamark. I just don't have any refill on hand, so I'm just using my ink pad. Then I'm going to take my paper and my marble and just roll that across my paper every which way. You may recall doing this as a kid. I remember doing this in elementary school with regular paint and marbles, and you'd set it in a dish and just roll the marble around. I tried using this as my dish to just roll it, but it just didn't move really well. I think it would do really great if you used re-inker in a dish rather than just on the ink pad, but this works good enough for what I'm doing. And then once I get that good and inked up, and I don't know if you can really see the lines, maybe just a titch. It's kind of hard on this watercolor paper, but then I just cover that. Let me just go ahead and take this glove off. I just cover that in embossing powder. I'm going to cover the whole thing to make sure it's good and done. Oh, I forgot a step. Make sure you wipe your paper with the embossing buddy so you don't have any excess stick to your paper. Any excess embossing powder stick to your paper. So then you'll end up with something like this. Now these big splotches are where I kind of hung around with the marble. No big deal, it just adds more pattern. And then I'm just going to heat emboss this. Now pretend we're on a cooking show, and I've got my recipe already made, and there is my finished product. Now with the watercolor, I would just use a fun color. I'm going to use Blackberry Bliss. It watercolors really well. And I'm just going to squeeze on my ink pad and open it, and I'm going to use the ink in the dish with my aqua painter and just pick some of that up and spread that over my embossing. Now you could do this beforehand. I don't usually like to watercolor and then emboss on top of it because you have to really be careful and absolutely make sure that your paper is completely dry, or the embossing powder will just stick to the entire piece of paper, and that's not the look we're going for. You can also heat it after you watercolor it before you emboss if you want to do it that way, but I just find it's easier to do it this way, and then I can make the rest of my project, prepare the rest of my project while I'm waiting for that to dry. I'm just going to wipe off the excess off of my embossing. And then you have a really beautiful kind of abstract background to put on a card or scrapbook page. I think these would make really beautiful stationery, maybe with a punched monogram and kind of popped up. I made a few different cards. Let me go back to the cardstock one. It looks really pretty on regular cardstock too without watercolor. I just really love the watercolor look. Here is a card I made with cardstock background. I used Tip Top Taupe with gold. I love how that turned out. This one is a watercolor one with Bermuda Bay. I love how the brights colors just really pop with heat embossing, watercoloring, sorry. And last one I did is with the new in color Cucumber Crush, and it is so beautiful watercolored. It really pops, and I use the scripts and silhouettes. Oh, what is it called? Silhouette and Script Hostess stamp set. You can get this for free with a $150 purchase or by hosting a party. And it's got some really great sets in there for different cards. Or I even just recently made a scrapbook page with one of the stamps there. I just love that Cucumber Crush. But this is just a fun and easy background, just something different. I love trying different things and you know, seeing how they'll turn out. And once again, these spots here, I just want to talk about those again. These are where I kind of just hung around with that marble and didn't roll it, because sometimes it's kind of hard to get it going. I hope you enjoyed the video and this technique and you'll give it a try. Feel free to comment if you have any questions. Thanks for stopping by.